somebody asked about like oh well, like or they said it would be like a long time before you have to do this again, and I was like I have never fucking.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're like, well, 10 years. 10 years. That's come back to Manitoba, and I was like, I'll be long dead.
Yeah,
10 years.
Devin is 46 in 10 years, and I don't know if I'm walking.
I am not. There's no fucking. I don't think that we can. I don't know. Maybe when in 10 years I'll feel refreshed. But like right
10
now,
years will be the Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't. Are we going? By the way?
Yeah, we're going.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see myself wanting to do that again in 10 years.
It was. It took up a significant amount of headspace in my head.
Welcome to Strong and Petty, episode 32.
I'm back, bitches.
To be alive if you can't do that.
Yeah, we finally have our special guest, Devin Penner, is here.
Time for another viewer dip.
Maybe suicide will come early.
We
Is that retirement plan?
We're here at the Whiskey Tango Studios in St. Vital, Manitoba, or Winnipeg, Manitoba. We have finally put a bow on. We're not just done with the planning, we've done with the execution and everything else of Strongman Corp Canada, Nationals, Strongest Woman in Canada, and Record Breakers.
Fuck me. We are done. Yes. We got her done. Where were you, Beeks? Where were you this weekend?
Beeks was playing with his little dink at home,
I was busy.
Yeah, so he wasn't there, but
yeah,
it was a very wild weekend.
We had people asking about the podcast all weekend.
Yeah, really? Actually,
Where is that other podcast host?
Shout out to the people.
No one was asking about me.
Yes, one old lady was
My
looking
parents
for
don't
a
even ask
father
about
figure.
me.
Shout out to the people that did mention and up the podcast to us because we do appreciate that. So I know that we like the strongman. I think that we have a pretty good like penetration of the strongman community.
Heavy penetration.
Yeah. Penetration, good word. But it's like it's a relatively small community, but
It is.
but it's nice to know that we have people.
It's a very
all over
tight
listening to
community.
us.
Better than not having it.
It's better than if we had no community whatsoever. That's for sure.
No viewers, no community.
That could be the case too. So thank you to everyone who brought it up. How are you feeling today?
I felt drunk till about noon.
Yeah.
All day yesterday I felt completely drunk, and I didn't drink alcohol all weekend, but I guess from not eating or drinking.
I drank alcohol on the weekend.
You guys did. I know. I didn't. I stayed at the venue and I went home and
I
went to my Airbnb. Did I tell you about my Airbnb?
No, please.
Holy shit. I'm fighting with him right now for a refund.
Are you really?
Yeah. So I rented Airbnb. It was $300 a night on Wellington, like right by.
Right there.
Yeah. And, it wasn't a great place, but I wanted something like within walking distance.
Right.
The ad showed a nice couch with a chaise, a separate chaise to the side, nice flat screen TV, and then 3-bedroom, king bed, queen bed. Nice. Exactly what us and Brian and Jay wanted. It was good enough. Like it was nothing fancy, but it was good.
Just a place to sleep.
$300 a night. Yeah. We show up Friday night, walk in, didn't really catch on because we literally walked in at 11 o'clock with McDonald's. I hadn't eaten since my breakfast sandwich at 7:30. Grabbed McDonald's, sat at the table. The table was so small, our knees all touched, all four of us.
Oh, really?
Whatever. We ate our food, went to bed at 11:30, got up at 6:30 or 6 o'clock, head back to the venue, come back Saturday night, and now I want to relax because the main thing's over, right? The main Swick was stressful, Nationals was really stressful, Record Breakers I knew would just be a nonchalant day. Come back, let's take a seat. There's no fucking couches.
What?
There's no couches. The couches, they're not there. I guess they weren't there Friday night either. There's no couches. There's the coffee table that was in the picture with a rug over top of it and two cushions up against the wall. And the coffee table was about yay big. And then I was on like one of those benches you'd put in your entranceway, those little padded ones with the lid. Mm-hmm. That was all caved in. That's what so the four of us sat on these two little benches in the corner of the living room. No TV.
No TV either.
TV's gone. Couches are gone. The door handle's gone. There's toilet paper in the door handle to close the hole. And the window in the door is plywood shut and painted.
Wow.
For $300
$300
a night.
$300 a night. That's what gets you on Airbnb.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a super host on Airbnb. so whatever. It was late. We got back. We just slept, got up, packed our shit.
Were there beds?
Yeah, the beds were there, but they weren't what was in the pictures either. So whatever. We packed up. We leave Sunday. I'm usually a guy. I'll complain, but I never ask for a refund. I'm like I always just take whatever and I don't give a shit. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? No, I'm asking for a refund.
You paid enough money to get a decent fucking place.
I want a refund. Yeah, and we wanted to sit down after Saturday night.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I was saying, I told Ty, I did the math, and I was at the venue for just shy of 38 hours, and I walked 26 miles.
Yeah.
Like, my feet were cooked, and I dropped those axle plates down a set of stairs, and they took out my ankle, so my ankle's all swollen. So I want to sit. So I messaged the lady. I'm like, hey, you know what? Place was you know, like the check-in was easy. I gave her 5. Like your check-in was right, everything was right. Like she did right and everything else. But I said, the place is not as advertised. I'm like, there was no couches, there was no doorknob, there was a hole to the outside.
I specifically asked for a doorknob. You didn't give me that. Like,
Yeah,
I searched. There was tons of places that didn't have doorknobs, and I didn't choose those places.
And I'm like, it was not as advertised. I think I should get. I'm not looking for a full refund because I would have gladly paid $150 a night to just have a bed.
Sure.
So I'm like, $300 to $600 I want back. And she's like, yeah, sorry, circumstances changed suddenly. I am sorry. I'm like, okay, but I just looking for a refund.
I am sorry.
Yeah, and she texts back, I am sorry. So I contacted Airbnb, sent them the pictures, and a big write-up of what was wrong. And she responds back to Airbnb and me that...
I'm sorry.
Literally. The doorknob got broken by the previous guest. Everything inside the house was perfect. This guy's just trying to get a free stay. I'm not giving him nothing.
Wow.
And I'm like, you motherfucker. You
Bold. Very bold.
Yeah, Rojana. So Rojana, you can suck my balls
suck his
for
dick,
one.
Rojana.
Piss me off. I don't know if you know Rojana, who owns a house on 1295 Wellington Street, lives in the upstairs on 1293, but screw her. Janae actually, in the middle of the night when we did at like 11:30, we'd have tea. She's like, fuck this lady. Let's just go upstairs and knock on her door so we can sit on her couches. Because she lives upstairs.
I'm surprised that Janae didn't do something like that, honestly.
She said, let's just go upstairs and watch her damn TV.
Yeah. Fuck. I'm surprised that actually I'm legitimately surprised that Janae knew that the person was not upstairs, that she's not like, we're going to go talk to her.
Frick, it was funny.
That's funny.
How are you feeling?
I slept for 14 hours last night. I'm kind of bouncing back. Gian's still fucked up. She's like laying in bed right now. It really took a lot out of her, and she was doing a lot too. I mean,
what's she wearing?
A bathrobe and fucking pajamas. Really, really sexy stuff.
Hey, when you're married, that is sexy stuff in marriage, Tyler.
I think she, you know, we said before that there was the physical stuff that you and I were doing, and Janae and Brian, everybody, and I don't want to get into it because everybody was working fucking hard.
Yeah, we're gonna touch on that.
Yeah, we will discuss that further. But say Danielle and Gian and others too, we're doing like the scorekeeping. The mental stuff, like the running numbers and all this shit, and it's just exhausting in this way that it's not this, like, you and I are used to moving shit, you know what I mean, to doing physical work or whatever. But when
physically tired and mentally is two different things.
It's two very different things, and especially because they're also mentally or phically tired too, because they're up at the same time that we are, and they're at the same time, and
we were there 15 hours each day.
Yeah, it was really, really wild, and so thank you to everybody who helped us, because it's just like I said it in my Instagram story that we're probably saying it so many times that it's kind of starting to just be like white noise by this point, but like we had, and all the competitors mentioned it. You know, Sam and Max mentioned it. The higher ups who were there, say like the pros who were there, the SWIC women and stuff. They all mentioned how it's just like this. Our helpers are insane. Like there's just the amount of work that they're doing, and it's so true. They did stuff. They put in more than a full day's work, 3 days in a row, just to help something that's, you know.
To help our passion.
Just to help us do something that we care about. Yeah. A lot of them are not involved in strongman.
No.
You know what I mean? They're just like, I care about Devin, I care about Tyler, and I want to see something that they care about come to fruition. So
well, Sean Hayes is a pro from Alberta, right?
He's from British Columbia.
And he had comment on our group page, he's Strong Corp rep, and he has said, he's like, the volunteers have said, who has a network this large to produce these volunteers?
He's like, respect to all your volunteers, all 36 of them that were there, and that's true. We had people rotating out. Like some were there on Friday who weren't there on Saturday, and then Sunday and vice versa. We just had this never-ending group of people, and honestly, eventually I told people we have enough volunteers, which is not a problem that I think a lot of people have. Where it's like, well, we actually have enough people; we don't need more help. And we had, like I said, we had people show up on Sunday. Sunday's kind of like the more relaxed day of it, I guess, as far as it goes. Like, we did a lot of the cleanup and tear down on Saturday. So we have record breakers on Sunday and then just kind of cleaning up after that. But we had like a guy from my gym showed up to watch, and he was like, can I help? And I was like, you can mop. And he mopped for like an hour. You know what I mean? Like, just
that place was 30,000 square feet, and they said we had to mop it, and they give us 2 mops.
Yeah.
Good.
That was a big job.
Were they out of toothbrushes?
It felt like real Army grunt stuff at the Minto Armory there.
Well, like Jeremy and Shorty were there with their 2 kids, like my nephews, Boston and Xander. They were there morning till night every day, and then they drove an hour home. I didn't realize they didn't stay in the city. They drove an hour home and were back every morning, the whole family, all 3 days with the kids.
Crazy.
And the kids worked their asses off all weekend too.
Good.
And that venue too is
Learn
like,
them young.
Yeah.
That
venue was pretty. Speaking about how huge it was, I remember like when we were looking at it, I was like, wow, this is so much more space than we're gonna need.
No, it worked. It was actually what we
exactly
needed.
What we needed, it's 30,000 square feet, and we needed every fucking foot of that.
Good.
We're to the point now where it's like, man, the next guys who do this,
Well,
I hope they can get a good deal on their building, because we got a good deal on ours. We had Chris Conrad, who really helped us out and stepped up and made it so that it was feasible in the first place to get this building. Never mind get it at the great rate that we got it at. We would have paid for this size of building fucking $10,000.
We asked Red River X, and they wanted $10,000
Instead of Moy Downs wanted $10,000.
Yeah, and we're like, we don't have it. It's not in the budget. Well, who was saying? I think it was Sam said they just put a comp on a couple weeks ago in an outdoor tent, and it cost them $6,000.
$6,000, yeah, to get a circus tent.
Yeah, to get
a circus tent.
We paid $1,400 for the whole weekend, 3 days.
The money is outrageous of what it costs.
That's fantastic.
It's not reasonable, but that's just what it is. So
we
would have been really, really screwed if not for that. So thank you to Chris Conrad.
Oh, dude, that guy was there. Yeah,
and he was there at the same amount of time that we were just hanging out, because he's just like, look, I kind of got to be here while you guys are here. So
but he loved it.
Yeah,
he loved it.
I think very briefly to pat you guys on the back and talking about the volunteers.
I would love to do that.
Yeah. I think neither Devin will let us all know how much he spent and how much he walked. But as
Funny
far
thing
as
about my back for padding is it's located on my cake.
I think both of you guys understate the value that you bring to other people's lives. There's the coaching and what they get out of their training and how they improve in strongman or just day-to-day life and boot camps and whatnot. But anyone can get that anywhere. And that's not a knock at your guys' coaching.
Oh, yeah, that's just what it is.
But you can go to gym and get results. I think it's the impact of you guys as people that you have on everyone who comes through you guys' doors.
I appreciate
You know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah,
so kudos to you guys, and maybe the words aren't always shared, but when you have an event like that, when you have more volunteers than needed, that's better than any words
you
can say,
that's
because it's the shittiest thing to volunteer at.
Yeah.
It's worse than powerlifting.
Yeah. It's more work.
It's terrible.
I said a few podcasts ago that I was like, the hard parts, you're like, everything's planned out. Now it's just a matter of execution. And I really think I minimized, at least in my own mind, what that execution meant.
No. Look up the definition of execution.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
that's what it was.
Literal death.
I felt I couldn't believe it. Just even at the end of Sunday, it would just be like, all right, I'm done. Everything's fucking done. And you look and there'd just be a table with like, there's a bunch of shirts and hats on it.
That was right at the end.
Like, fuck. Like, it's just like, there's always more. I was like, now I got to carry this stuff out. It's like, we forgot like the Hooters catered it. Shout out Hooters and Kevin Cannon. But Hooters catered it. And I was like, I forgot the fucking plastic things to get back to Hooters. And I would go back and get those. And it was just like, it never fucking
When I
ended.
seen that last table with
Never
a couple shirts on it and some bottles, I was defeated. I was like,
just throw it all in the trash.
I grabbed everything and it went into the garbage can. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out.
There was nothing left to give at that point. It's funny because I just put a question thing if anybody has any questions about nationals or whatever, and someone said more about Devin's Air B&B situation. So we got ahead of that one.
A couple guys messaged me like, I can't wait to hear the podcast on Tuesday to hear about this Airbnb.
He says that is fucked that they fucked him like that. So the sentiment is shared.
Do they not know who I am?
Yeah, they must not. This is the fucking king of Manitoba strongman here. Doesn't he know that?
I'm pretty fired up today. I'm not gonna lie. Like for how exhausted I am.
Hey,
I only slept just over 7 hours last night, but it was 7 glorious hours.
I mean, you take 7 shows off too. You got to bring the energy.
Gianne messaged me. She's like, I can't get it back, and I was like, well, I'm kind of bouncing back, to be honest with you. Like I was feeling. I feel like a huge weight's been loaded, to be honest with
That's
you.
the deal too. She's like, how are you feeling? I was jumping around last night, like acting like an idiot. She's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, like.
Me and Deb were joking around. Like, next year, let's do it all again. Let's bring it right back.
Like I'm used to the mental shit from the businesses that are around. So I'm like, this is okay. I'm exhausted, but she's like, how can you recover from this bullshit? I'm like, I feel okay, yeah. And I text her. She's probably pretty mad at me right now, but I'm like, what are we doing on Friday night? She's like, nothing. Why? I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go, because I have a house in the middle of flipping. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go work. I got to get this new flooring and this stuff flat. She's like, no. I'm like, it's 20 hours. And my mind is bored now and I'm freaking out. So I'm booking the weekend up. She's like, are you, like, this is stupid. I'm like, no, like, I have nothing on my mind. Like, my business are going good. My partner helped me out with that. I'm like, I got a whole evening free on one day this week. Like, I got to book this up. So she's pretty pissed at me.
With nothing important going on.
She's pretty pissed with me.
No one important in my life I need to tend to.
No one needs attention in my life besides this house right now.
How about hanging out with the girls? I'm like, yeah.
I do have kids. Fuck, you're right.
What do you mean? I live with them. They're going to hang out with them too?
Every morning when we get up.
I literally give them a hug before bed.
Yeah.
Like, how much more love does a father need to show?
Well, so we got, like, not the same as that, but I have a Halloween party this weekend that I'm like, I told Gianna, I was like, I'm going to have a real boost of something to feel like I want to go and do that. I'm all socialized out.
Well, the amount of socializing you do at these events, like everybody's coming to talk, and the amount of we got no negative. Actually, one negative feedback I got, but No, besides the one guy, one cocksucker
just
from Alberta.
Just you saying that pissed me off.
Yeah.
So, who the fuck gave us some negative feedback? Who said that?
Yeah, no, it wasn't negative.
What do you want to talk about
We had one guy send me a message, and he's like, "Great comp." I'm not gonna say who, but he's like, "Great comp. Everything went amazing." He's like, "The only thing I gotta say is, I guess their table was one of the last ones called, because their number wasn't on our list, and they all went up, and all the food was gone, and none of them got to eat."
Well,
and I was like, "What happens? We ordered food for 300, and we had about 240 people, but a lot of the heavyweight dudes or the big dudes went first. They didn't like. I come from a different thing where you take a reasonable amount first plate and you go for seconds if there is, so that everybody can eat. These guys are around their plates this high.
Guys were walking off with plates that I was like, there's no fucking.
Our helpers came back from getting drinks for everybody, and there was no food, and they went home without eating.
Yeah. Well, hold on. But we did our very best to remedy that, where we ordered 15 pizzas.
Yeah.
After we paid $2,500 for the Hooters food.
So I did offer this guy his money back for the time. So because it was actually his plus one didn't get to eat, and I said I will gladly reimburse his $40.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, absolutely not. We're fine. We had a great time. I said I just had to tell you. Like, it was phenomenal. That was the only downfall. And really, if that's the only downfall of this whole thing, he said, I think you guys did pretty damn good.
A lot of people had very,
just that one petite guy from Alberta. I think his name is Petite because I really couldn't give a shit.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Says, you guys set the bar high for every other province going forward. Well done. So that is from an athlete that
that's great.
So that's really nice to hear. And I had a lot of people stop me and say that at the event. And that really means a lot to hear that kind of stuff. And what was really nice was that it was... like I had one of the Masters heavyweights say that, and I had one of the women's lightweights say that, and I had one of the record breakers people say that, and all the SWIC women said that. So really, like, it's just nice to know that we handled everyone in a way that made everyone happy. It wasn't like is that important?
Nope. I just want to put on mute. I thought I had muted this shit.
It's just like, but because sometimes it seems like a weird thing you might miss in strongman, but it's like, well, all the guys were happy, but the girls were pissed about something. You know what I mean, or vice versa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So it was nice to know that we kind of seemed to get it across the board. And shout out to Michael Thrones, who did an amazing job with our live stream. I'm gonna talk about it. I wasn't sure if I was going to.
Could you imagine getting a free live stream where you don't have to pay for it, where it has all the stats, live score sheets, and we're in a defense building where the Wi-Fi isn't great, and we can't bring our own Wi-Fi in because it's a military base.
So anybody who was streaming would have had the exact same problems.
It was the Wi-Fi it would cut out and cut in and cut out, and we couldn't bring our Wi-Fi in because it's military and it's secure. We're not allowed to.
Right.
You get a free live stream, so you don't have to drive to Winnipeg or fly to watch your athletes and coach them through. And it was the score sheets were updated. The next person hadn't even gone yet, and the score sheet was updated. So you knew what the guy before you got for reps on the score sheet. Your coach could coach you.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh, this live stream is just...
Hold on. I want to get into this a little bit because...
there's two guys, I think.
No, there was a few, it's all from the
comfortable for
it's
this?
all from the same.
Can you lift that high?
Here's the thing. It's all from the same group. It's all buddies. So it's not like it's like a whole bunch of different people from all over the country were saying, "Oh, this sucks." It was a bunch of fucking Berta boys, and it was guys who were and I said to them, I was like, "Hey, it would take nothing for you to send us a message." I asked all the pros who watched. I said, "What would your feedback be for the live stream that we can change?" And they said it was great. These are a couple things that could be changed. And I said, "Hey, fantastic, thank you."
Yeah.
These motherfuckers decided to go on their Instagram stories and tag Strongman Corp and say, "Don't watch this because it's the stream sucks and the sound is no good and whatever."
They said if they didn't have athletes involved, they wouldn't even turn this shit on.
Yeah, and here's the thing is that I privately messaged them and I said, "Why wouldn't this be a private message that you would send to me? Why wouldn't you, as somebody who also promotes shows or who's involved in Strongman, why wouldn't you feel like you could message me and be like, 'Hey guys, these are some things that that are going wrong with your stream right now, and if you want to fix them, here's the information.'"
Yeah.
You got that? Oh. So their big thing was, "Hey, if you can't take feedback or whatever, why should I probably meet?" Because I fucking messaged them and I said, "We have a guy who's doing it for free. And he's doing it on his own fucking time helping us out. And he did a fucking great job. Thank you, Michael Thrones, for doing it."
Yeah.
And their big issue was that we didn't use their boy. Their boy is Power Hippo Streams, who is great.
He's a great guy.
Power Hippo is great. The company and the guy who runs it is great. I have nothing but good things to say about that guy.
Yeah.
And he messaged us and said that Thrones was doing a great job and was doing things that he doesn't even have on his stream.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a live score sheet on his stream.
He doesn't have the names.
No.
He doesn't have none of that. He actually, after I sent that message on Instagram, he private messaged me and he put out a post defending us. This is a guy who he wanted to do the live stream at Nationals.
Yeah.
We were short on funding. We didn't get a ton of sponsorship. Even guys who said they were sponsoring didn't show up to sponsor. The money.
No.
We would
Nice.
not have
Yeah.
had the money to give him.
Yeah,
We
so-
wouldn't have had money in hand to give him if we had done it this way.
Yeah.
You want to know what we got for this fucking, like, we are happy to have done the job that we did and just do everything that we did.
Loved it.
What we got in return for a year of planning that includes driving all over the city for getting sponsorships, picking up equipment, changing things, talking to people, dealing with the stress of all this shit, and for 3 like 15-hour days, I'll tell you right now, we each got a set of Bells of Steel plates, which are fucking great, and we're very happy to have them.
Amazing.
And we got $1,600 each.
Yeah.
That's what we got. And we're going to lose a lot of that money because we're going to buy all of our volunteer stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. We're spending that on the volunteers.
So this notion that people were putting out there that it's like, oh, they're just trying to save money. This is Strongman Corp cutting corners to save money. What money?
Yeah.
We didn't make any money. We did this because we love this fucking sport,
and
like you're supposed to too. So if someone else is doing something that is trying to grow the sport and you don't support it, fuck you. That's it.
It's like an AEW promo. I like it.
Well, no. Yeah. So now I got to agree. So we took the whole year of shows. Every show we did this year, Vida, Tolstoy, any profit, we penny pinched on those shows. Any profit went into a bank account. We made a company, me and Tyler, Maxwell Strawman, put all that money into there, and every show we did, every sponsorship from all the shows went into to pay for nationals. So we finished nationals. Like when I'm saying we didn't have short funding is when our matting bill came in, like we're going to the mats. It was a couple cents more for me to get roll matting. So I just decided, hey, we're short in our mats. So I want to redo my gym anyways. So I paid $10,000 for the mats, and I'm just going to redo my gym and sell mine out because we didn't even have enough sponsorship to cover our matting.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no problem. I wanted to change my gym one anyways. Maybe wife wasn't too happy about that call, but I wanted to change my matting anyways. And I ended up buying double the amount of mats that my gym holds. So I got tons of fucking rolls of mats. I'll sit in my
I
house.
don't know how your wife can look at your body and not be happy with you improving your gym. cut to tension in here a little bit.
But
I don't know why you say that.
overwhelmingly, the feedback was positive, and the only reason
Yeah, besides that cocksucker, it was
the
good.
only reason that I cut that little promo was they specifically told me if you can't handle criticism, don't put shit out there. So hey, if you can't handle
You know what?
criticism,
Yeah.
if you can't handle criticisms on the way that you're acting, then deal with it.
Yeah. There were a couple things that were surprises.
Some powerlifting dork from the Strength Edge. I don't remember his name, but he's a dink too who's doing nothing to help anybody except for just sitting in his home playing with his little dink and getting.
For Coach to
getting
say, if
upset.
I didn't have athletes compete, I wouldn't watch a stream. The fuck aren't you at national supporting your athletes?
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you not there coaching?
Yeah.
Yep.
You wouldn't even have to watch the stream, then you could watch it live.
Yeah.
So that's obviously been something that I've been wanting to say this
Yeah.
whole
Well, no,
time, and I wasn't sure that I was going to, but I
I got the message, and I walked up to Tyler, and I showed Simone, and I showed a couple guys, and they're like, oh, no, a couple guys I talked to, like, no, we know that gym's like that. They're like, they like to criticize everything else and not do shit themselves.
Yeah.
So, fuck them, right? I'm sure
and sorry, I said that
Those people.
I said this dude from Strength Edge. No disrespect to Strength Edge. I love that gym, and I like the people who train there. It's just a couple of guys, I guess, or maybe even just one guy. I don't know, but
whatever. It is.
anyway, let me dial that back in a little bit because I was.
You okay?
I am now.
We're
I
good.
was like that was kind of.
You actually look like a better color now.
I feel. It was.
You would have slept 16 hours if you didn't have that on your
It
mind.
was just like it was one of those things where it's like we're already so worn down, and like for someone who puts on their own competitions to be like, oh yeah, well the sound's not great in the live stream. It's like, God damn you motherfucker! Like we have 150 fucking athletes plus the competition the night before, plus the competition tomorrow. Whatever. I don't want to get too much more into it.
You know what wasn't?
I could sit here and literally talk for an hour about how much these guys.
I was gonna say, you know what's a lot of work
being
putting in a
assholes,
comp, and you guys all know Janae very well. She sleeps the same minutes every day, the same amount of sleep every day. She texted this morning, whatever time it was, she slept 11 hours last night.
Wow.
I don't think she slept 11 hours since she used to do a lot of drugs back in her teens. Like, I don't know if she's like, yeah. Brian and her took the day off. Luckily, they both texted me at like 11. They woke up. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And before we completely get off this topic, is that I know that someone will share this with them, and you guys will see it. So I don't want to be enemies with you guys. I want to be friends with you. So let's resolve this and become friends. Otherwise, just keep the butt the fuck out.
I don't care what enemies.
Well, I like being
why I
cool with everyone in the scene.
So I
You
had
know what I mean?
acreages
Like,
and dig holes.
yeah, I met the
have
one guy
lots of-
recently, and we got along very well, and he's a very nice guy. So it was disappointing to see him being a little bit of a
Little keyboard warrior.
a little bit of a dink. Yeah, as it
So
were.
yeah, I guess I'm fired up because I'm not a guy who takes. I'm not great at promoting, and I messed up a bit on the promoting some of the sponsors, and I apologize. For the next couple months, I'm going to be just harping on sponsors that we got, like promoting them for the next couple months on Match Strong page, make sure they got their money's worth. But I set a goal in my head of I said this show will take us 7.5 hours, but I set a goal of 6 hours, and I said it all the time. I had it calculated out down to the minute, and I wanted to run the most efficient show this country's ever seen in terms of nationals. And that's why I'm fired up, because we ran the show in 7 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, and for 150,
For
140,
144 athletes,
144.
4 lanes, one injury. We had one torn bicep, some tweaks and stuff.
He thinks it's not torn.
No, he said no bruising came in this morning.
Yeah, so
maybe
might not be torn.
But one injury.
He messaged me yesterday that it was torn.
Yeah.
Really? Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
the physio. I mean, he's got a peak like no tomorrow. I think it's torn.
Oh.
But
I don't know.
we'll see
I
what
have no
we'll see
idea.
what it says. He goes to the hospital.
Yeah.
But so I'm fired up because it's I take a lot of pride in putting on these events. I put a lot of money and time in these things. That's a significant amount of time. We all do, and I'm just super proud, man. We put on the best national show. All the reps talk to me, Sam and Max included. Like this is setting the standard for what nationals needs to be every year, and I hope they do. I had reps message me this morning, and I was sending them what I did on Keep Notes.
Yeah,
I was showing
anything
this is
that-
how I
anything that
ran
we
it.
can help with, yeah.
This is how I ran it. This efficient. I'll send them whatever I did. This is how I broke the show down to make sure all the helpers knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
You know, we did
And
the
if you-
sandbag thing, the preloading sandbags, weighing them up. So it was just boom. It was just fast
we picked
exchanging.
the events very specifically, and if you guys need any help on like cutting corners to make sure that you become millionaires on this, like we can help you with that too, obviously. So.
Absolutely.
But anyway, to get into a little more of a positive thing. So on Friday night, it was Strongest Woman in Canada.
What
Awesome
an unreal!
event.
What an unreal show.
Yeah, really something special. Chris McDowell refereed.
Yeah.
Was very happy to have him there. It was really nice to be able to bring so we had him and then we had Ham.
Saw the hammer.
Yeah, the next day with Jose and Colton, who's a current guy on the scene. But it was nice to have these people like that. We specifically wanted like Manitoba alumni, as you know, whatever you might call them, like to do the jobs, because we know that it's not just Manitoba. I'm sure it's everywhere in the province or in the country, but the old guard doesn't always get the respect they need because people just don't know. Like they're just not aware of how important McDowell and your guys' gym and everything was to like making sure that there is a strongman right now, because it's really like I'm not overstating it when I say that I don't know where strongman would be if it wasn't for Brent Ham and McDowell. If it was for neither of them, I don't think they're strongman in Manitoba. I just don't know who else could have done the.
Does anybody know when strongman started really doing anything in this province? Like, was there someone there? There was the guys from Latwani. Was that all during the Brent area as well, right?
Yeah. Well, some guy came up to me in the competition and was like, he couldn't believe that it was Brent was there. He's like, my first competition was 17 years ago, and it was one that Brent Ham put on.
It was a Masters guy.
Yeah,
and he competed there. And he said
so
in
he was-
2007 was his first show. He did a show in Altona that Brent promoted.
So we would have to be talking about pretty close to the genesis of Manitoba strongman there, I would think.
Well,
but
because Brent went to Worlds in 2005 in China,
right,
and so he had been a couple years before that. But it was cool that guys recognized the equipment from 16 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. They saw the pole stuff and they were like, "Whoa!" Like they couldn't believe it. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But McDowell did Friday, and I was thrilled that I picked him because there was a little bit of like a discrepancy with some of the calls, whatever. Especially, and it was with the Quebec girls, so there's a little bit of like a language barrier. Like they speak English, but it's not. It's 80% English, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And
David got a little hyper there for a second.
Yeah, because it was people were kind of jumping in because it's an important show and it matters to these people, right? So I get it.
There's lots of money in line.
And McDowell was just exactly what you'd want him to be, which was just
He's
rock
a
solid.
really good judge.
He's a great ref, and he was rock solid, and he explained exactly what to us, exactly why he made the calls that he made.
Yep.
And I said, hey man, you're the and I agree, first of all I agree with his calls too.
Yeah.
But I was like, you're the referee. Like I specifically told him that I wanted him to be on hard mode.
Yeah.
I wanted him to be a difficult, strict referee that didn't let things slide because. JF is a difficult, strict referee at CSM, and we want the women to be getting the same
standard
treatment as the men, right? And they did, and they even like I said, there was a little bit of like a disagreement, whatever. It was all the women got it, and we all moved forward, and we kept going, and it was a really, really fun show to do. It was fun to see. First of all, what I said would happen was exactly what happened. That Sam was like a master to watch at work. Like she just crushed it. She only didn't win one event, and it was by 0.07 of a second, and that was an insane performance. That was nuts.
That we'll touch on that because that deserves its own minute or two.
Yeah, and so Sam, 3 times strongest woman in Canada. Congratulations to her. Far and away the champion. Like just usually stopped kind of where she had to stop, kind of thing. But. Yeah, really something to watch her work. And the other women, too, Sam Moffat, who got second, Jose De La Chevrotier, I believe is what it is. Chevrotier.
Yeah, no,
that was very mellifluous.
Thank you. I gave it I had to practice it a few times. I had to say it on the mic a few times, and I wanted to make sure I did.
Because every time you said it on the mic, there's a smile on your face after.
I kind of paused for a second, and then when I got it, if I looked at them, they kind of gave me a nod. I was like, oh, yes, I nailed it. Dave was telling me that when they did the Arnolds, they would have, like, their name bar on their stomach or whatever. And it was... they had all these like Ukrainian names where it's like 9
Yeah.
syllables, whatever, right? And they said for hers it just said Jose, like we're not even trying with that shit.
not-
So, I was like, damn, okay. Well, then that's when he said that. I was like, I'm not going to call her just Jose. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, I'm not even going to try with this one, Jose. You know what I mean? So I really want to give it a shot, and I hope that I didn't butcher it too badly. But that podium was like, fuck, are those girls strong? They are insane. And Jose's fucking traps and like. Sam Moffat's just like a fucking monster. Like her legs are huge. Like these girls are just like they're so strong and it's just so impressive.
David came up to me. He's like, ever since your podcast, people just talk about my girlfriend. Now I'm nothing. It's all about there's something like that. He said it's all about my girlfriend's traps now because of your podcast.
Dave's got great traps too. It's something about Quebec. They got great traps out
frick,
there.
I laughed. Yeah,
But those 3 women crushed it, and there's 10 women and they were all amazing. We had 2 from Manitoba with Mara and Kelsey. Kelsey's in her first year of strongman. I'm gonna call it strongman. It's strongman. Kelsey was in her first year of strongman. She did a novice show at Devin's gym in April, and then in October she competed at Strongest Woman in Canada. You know what I mean? Like imagine if somebody competed at the training grounds novice show, and then
CSM.
By August they were doing CSM. Like that's just it's just unheard of. So respect to her.
You know how pumped I'd be if that actually happened.
I would love that.
Could you imagine?
I would be fucking thrilled if that happened. But it was amazing, and Mara had a great showing too. Like she really just showed why she's been like for so long been sort of like.
Well, she's carried that torch in Manitoba
Right.
for. We'll get on that. We'll do a segment. You can talk about all your athletes. I'm gonna talk about mine. We'll make sure everybody gets their all the Manitoba, not even ours, but all the Manitoba athletes get their.
It was they. Yeah. So and then one person that I did want to touch on specifically from SWIC was Tamara Nolan, who
what an
she
animal.
has surgery booked on her shoulder. She destroyed her shoulder doing a circus dumbbell at Westerns.
It popped out.
Yeah. On July 1st.
Oh.
Yeah,
Not this.
shoulder out.
I can't reach over there. It popped out.
She popped her shoulder on the second event of the first day of Westerns. So she had like 6 more events after that. Not only did she win, I'm almost sure she won every event.
Yeah.
Like she's a monster. She's super jacked. She's
Sorry,
shaped.
From where?
From BC. From
Okay.
Courtney,
Yeah, they
BC.
just taped it back in.
Yeah, and she's huge. Like she was a bodybuilder before.
Okay.
And I'm saying bodybuilding, not bikini, not physique.
Bodybuilding.
Yeah. So she's a monster, and she's tatted from literally the top of her head to the bottom of her feet, and she's a very imposing figure.
toenail.
Yeah. She's a very imposing figure, and she's the nicest woman you could hope to meet. But she, of all the things to do with a hurt shoulder, she won the sandbag toss, and she was just throwing it like
The one where you have to like.
she was just using all biceps. She couldn't extend her shoulder at all, and she won against Sam Beliveau, which is nuts. And those
bags were clearing the bar by not
she's
inches,
soaring.
by feet.
soaring over it. So just like that kind of bicep strength is fucking nuts. So respect to Tamara Nolan for showing up and doing what she did, because goddamn is she an impressive athlete.
I think if that shoulder wasn't injured, she would have been fighting for podium.
I said the same thing. I said that if she, I think to be 100% honest, I wasn't super familiar with say like Sam Moffat, who ended up.
I
being
wasn't
like,
either. Yep.
Holy shit, she's a really great strong woman, and Jose I knew was really good.
Yeah.
But I really thought that Tamara could push. I don't know if she'd beat her, but I knew that she could really push Sam Beliveau in a way that maybe she wouldn't be pushed by other people. But that's the sport. So she's gonna get surgery on that shoulder, and
all those girls next year will be pushing.
Yeah.
Sam.
Oh yeah. They're all getting better.
The hard part about being on the top is it seems everybody underneath you closes that gap a lot
sure.
faster, and you can't. It doesn't seem you can lengthen it.
No, and Tamara will get her shoulder repaired, and nothing but we wish her nothing but the best and a speedy recovery and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of closing that gap a little bit, on Saturday, Manitoba has its second strongman on the circuit. Dan Cadger got his pro status.
Awesome.
Yes.
Congrats, Dan.
Yeah, he finished second. The plan originally was maybe do you want to say what when JF got involved?
Well, yeah. So middle of the show, Caroline from Wild Strength, she sponsored the show.
Shout her the fuck out.
Oh man, Caroline, she came in, she emailed me and said, "Can I sponsor the show?" I said, "Absolutely."
And Laura too.
And Laura, yeah. And I'm like, "Yeah." She said, "Cassette booth, yeah." And she said, she just started new business. She's like, "Can I get, I'll help you the whole weekend and trade for extra." I'm like, "Absolutely." Like I know. She's like, "I've done the weigh-ins every year since like 2017 for every nationals." She flew it early, was there at 7 o'clock or 7:30. She was there at the venue Friday, took care of all the weigh-ins, the record breakers, and stood by me all week. Anything I needed, she was there for. It was unreal. And then halfway through the day Saturday, give or take, maybe on the 4th event, she came up to me and said, "Kate, JF wanted me to tell you that He had asked her how the open men looked, and she said top 8 could be pros of what the podium was looking like. And he said, "Okay, I want to give 3 pro cards to top 3 open based on how these athletes are performing." He was watching the live stream.
Yeah.
So yeah, the guy from Alberta didn't like our live stream, but JF Cron did. So suck on my nuts. Yeah. Like so it's top 3 got circuit. So they didn't get SEC pro status, only top 1, but I think they work together anyway. So it carries over.
It's a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're now on the circuit.
Awesome.
So
Which is phenomenal.
Lars, Nathan, and Nathan was in first, Dan in second.
Sorry,
Lars in
Nathan.
third.
Nathan Edwards.
Nathan Edwards.
Oh, okay.
No social media. I had to message JF his email address this morning.
He's very strong.
Yeah,
he's gonna be a force.
He's like, he messaged me, Devin, do you have like social media for this guy? I was like, nope, but I got his info. So I said, here, you want to announce with the pro? I said, well, here's the email. That's all I've got. Like,
he was
He
awesome.
keeps a low,
Lars is another guy too who is this is his first year competing.
as
Got
if.
his pro status, so that's pretty fucking wild. That was a stiff. The 105 men's and the open men's was a huge field. Both of them were like 20 competitors.
And the podium did this by
they were
drastic.
changing. There was
by
a
8 to
different
10
guy every event
placings.
in the
Yeah.
podium.
8 to
That's
10
great.
guys that would move up and down.
The only,
That's great.
to be honest with you, the only one who was like consistently there from beginning to finish was actually Dan. I think that he was sat in third for a while. He went down off it for a little bit, and then he was back up there again, like within another events. Like Dan had a really Dom like performance where it was like good in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sandbag wasn't his friend. It's never been his friend, and we're gonna keep working on that. But like the throw.
Yeah.
But everything else that he did good in. Like he did really good in the deadlift, and the keg was really good to him too. So. Congratulations to him because that's I couldn't be more.
I'm a big
proud.
fan of his.
Yeah, man. I think that everyone who meets him really is because
Yeah.
there's a few guys that I met there that kind of had the same energy as Dan, which is a quiet guy who puts in the work, who's respectful, humble, and what else could you ask for in somebody,
Yeah.
right? Nick from Quebec really struck me as somebody like that. The guy with the beard who did the deadlift the last day.
Oh, yes.
Just
Yeah.
super fucking nice guy and just happy to be there. And you know, they called him up on the podium and he gets a little emotional and stuff, and it's just like this matters to this guy, you know what I mean? So it's nice to see.
Well, there's a 17-year-old kid that did we had 3 in the teen division. The one kid ran with it. Kid just missed, like halfway up, couldn't lock a 600-pound deadlift.
Yeah.
So-
He had a
After competing Saturday, he gave a record because almost pulled 600.
200-pound, 220 log. Rohan was his name, I believe, right?
Yeah, that guy was a beauty.
Yeah, he was awesome.
All those teens were.
And that's the thing is I could sit here and be like, this
We
guy
could
was
spend
awesome.
4
This
hours.
person was
We could
awesome
spend
too.
the next 3 episodes talking
Yeah,
about
we
the
could
athletes.
we could do every person who helped and every person who competed and every
Yeah.
fucking ref and everything else and just be like, everyone was awesome. And they were. It's just I was just blown away by so many of the performances, and it was just really to see it all happen, to see it all come together was kind of surreal. There was no giant like, fuck, we have to stop everything right now. You know what I mean?
We had
Like, it was-
we had one screw up on sandbag.
Oh, yeah, the
So
scoring
there was,
system.
There was a scoring system miscommunication. One of our girls, she gave the split times, but didn't add them together, and when the person would just quit or they get 3 attempts at the last bag and they would quit, she would mark that down. So they would be like 3 bags in 47 seconds. Well, no, they had 3 bags in 10 seconds.
Right.
But she stopped at 47, was given that time.
Right.
And so the one lane, 30-some athletes were all wrong.
Just volunteers, just not having a full grasp of the
Yeah.
thing, and that's
I get what she did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely.
Yeah.
I caught it. And I'm like, because one guy came up and said, "Look at my video, guys. This is wrong." And a couple of guys throughout the day came with videos showing, "Hey, I got 5 reps instead of 4." And I'm like, "No, I'll correct it. Like your video proves it." I looked, no hands in the bar. Ref give the down comment. There's a miss up. So we were really good that way. And they were not one guy freaked out on me all day. Not one guy came up like, "Hey, you guys fucked me on this." They're like, "Hey, Devin, here's the video." I'm like, "Yep, we'll fix it right now." And maybe because I did that right off the hop, everybody knew that. So I
Set
went
the standard.
I'm such a nice guy though.
yeah, you're the nice.
Thank you.
And you're the last to tell everyone.
That's what it is. Yeah. Thank you.
But yes,
Because I let them tell everybody first.
Yeah.
No, but then so I told the girl about the thing, and she was literally almost in tears. And I'm like, "Jessica, it's fine, man. Like I'm fixing it." So I took 20. It took 20
Could
minutes. I
throw her
think?
name out
maybe
there.
that long.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah. This is her address. She looked notorious for Devin. Nothing to do. But yeah, we corrected it, and it maybe cost us 20 minutes.
Maybe that long, and
Yeah.
and we had like a really fun group of people. I mentioned the referees that we had, but Jose Morno, who's been helping us out this season, we really want to have this sort of like a women's touch to the shows. We have so many female competitors now that I really like the idea of having somebody who's been to World's Strongest Woman, who's been to the Arnolds, who's done all this shit, and can show these women, that there's still a strong female presence in Manitoba.
Yeah.
So I was really, really happy to have her there. She was nervous, but she did a great job.
Good.
Yeah, and
was super
she was
nervous.
nervous. She was. I had to kind of like every time that I would I had the athletes meeting with I had the rules meeting with the referees, and then I had to kind of have a second time with Jose because she just was like, you have to explain it to me again. So
Yeah.
but better that than not doing it.
Totally. And knowing her a little bit, that's totally her personality.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had Hammer, Brent Ham, who I think that most of the people, maybe they don't, the people who listen to this, but he's along with McDole, is that they're the two gay fathers of strongman in Manitoba.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, the sport just couldn't exist without
Zaddy Ham.
Without them procreating.
yeah, without them having sex and having.
Well, both of you guys are from the tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're the brothers who
You
are
were-
now.
You were
sleeping
direct from
together.
McDole, and I started with Brent.
Yeah, we're the brothers who are now sleeping together and creating our own little strong Manitoba baby. It's a horrible thing to see. Someone's coming with the camera here.
Our camera just died.
Let's
One job, producer. Son of a bitch.
So we had Hammer.
It's a sandbag all over again.
Yeah, we had Hammer, and he did a great job. He's exactly what you'd want him to be, just like a stiff, emotionless referee who just does exactly the same thing for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's really all that we needed.
Yeah.
We had Colton Sloan, who's a current pro strongman on the circuit. He came in. He was there just because his fiance now which congratulations to them on that, was competing. So he was nice enough to step away from his role as like handler and coach and whatever, and spend the whole day reffing with us. So thank you very much to Colton Sloan for that. We really do appreciate it. And then we had McDeasy, who is instrumental, and he did the
Just
open
as old
and-
as ever, baby.
Yeah, again. Old as he ever was, that guy. But we really want to thank the referees because they did a great job, and it's a show where we didn't take the job of referee lightly. We really wanted to have people there that we felt like could handle the job because
Not only that, could handle the criticism that can come with it and
Right.
stand by their calls.
right. It's a very stressful.
Because refs can be persuaded by athletes by coming under pressure.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially when we're talking about like the men's open division where they're big fucking and intimidating looking guys, or if we're talking about the men's masters where it's like they've been doing it for a long time and they know what to tell referees maybe and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it was really, really great to see those guys just absolutely all four of them just did a phenomenal job, and we were thrilled with it. And then Sunday rolled around. I went first was the sponsored after party at Bar Italia. So it's sponsored. I had to go. It's sponsored.
Did a lot of guys show up?
Yes, they were very happy with it actually.
Awesome. Good.
They a bunch of the thank you to the Quebec guys who went there on
Thursday.
I think it was Friday, but
Friday.
whatever day it was, they went there, all got their meals. They said that they almost got their sponsorship back just from those guys. So, hey, thanks to those guys for respecting the game and going to the sponsors.
Good stuff.
And then whatever wasn't
that's
taken care
awesome.
of, I can promise you it was taken care of on like whatever sponsorship money they didn't get back. They got back on Saturday night
Tenfold.
because
I bet.
the BC and Manitoba people and some of the Ontario people and Alberta people were they were thirsty.
Did you guys rip it up?
Yeah, oh yeah, they were thirsty that night, and
I was sitting on a coffee table, so
yeah.
I didn't go.
There's people on tables at Bar Italia too. So, but it was
What a scene that must have been for Bar I.
well, that's
Monsters everywhere.
It was funny because it's like so. I walked up and there was a bunch of people who were there, and I was like, I really love these people for showing up to the sponsored thing. So I bought everyone a tray of shots. And then a bunch of people kind of took it as like, oh, well, I should do the same thing. I was like, no, you don't have to.
Yeah,
It was just like 4 or 5 trays of shots for everybody, and then all of a sudden everyone's got their own drinks, and it's just it was really, really good. And
Was it open aside from that?
yes, so it was a fun mix of people there.
When in our day, when you, Dom, and I were there, we were the biggest ones, always.
Yeah.
And it wasn't close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to imagine that place full of strong men and strong women,
Yeah.
and then all these little hipster kids.
Well, there's like Sean Hayes, who's like 330.
Mm-hmm.
There's Tamara, who's fucking jacked and intimidating looking and stuff. And there's just like all these other, and like Dobby from Alberta, who's like 6'4" and fucking 330 probably. These guys are fucking huge. And I had the manager from Bar I today. He's one of my clients at the gym. And he was like, there was a bar back there who just like couldn't stop. Like every time someone would come in, he'd be like, you gotta go look in that corner over there and see all these fucking guys that are fucking huge. Like you're not gonna believe it. And it was I think if nothing else, we made for a fun little sideshow.
For
which
sure.
is what else is strongman if not that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
We made
safest
for
that place has ever been.
Yeah, literally. And it's funny because I said I was like when we did our banquet thing afterwards, and I said, hey, for anybody who wants to, the after party's at Bar Italia. I said it's a little bit of like a notorious spot in the city, but we're gonna go there. We're gonna have lots of fun. And everyone was like, "Oh, like, why is it so notorious?" And I was like, "Well, just night by night basis. It depends who shows up, But it was really really fun.
Well,
and
shootings and stabbings were down 30% around Minto Armory.
That's right. Yeah. It was a very safe space all around there with all the boys and girls from the strongman competition.
Oh shit.
And so I was really happy with that. And Gianne, I was also really happy that Gianne pulled me out when she did, because I was just getting into the thick of things.
Tipping point.
You wouldn't have been there Sunday morning.
I would have, and I would have walked from somebody's house to.
Yeah,
I would have walked from somebody's house in the Minto Armory neighborhood probably, and got into the venue.
I show up Sunday morning, and our schedule said 9 a.m., but we all talked 10 a.m. Me, Simone, everybody. So when I'm sitting on that coffee table Saturday night, I look at the schedule. I'm like, holy shit, it's 9 a.m. I got to be there by 8. And it was already almost midnight. I'm like, shit. So I get up and I get there by 8, and like competitors and people are there already, waiting outside the door for me to get in. I'm like, shit. 8:30 comes, or 8:25 it was, and I text Simone. I'm like, dude, where are you guys? Like, events, I don't have the list, because there's some lists I didn't have. I'm like, I don't have the list. I said, he's like, yeah, we'll be there for 9:30. Like, starts at 10. I'm like, no. We said 10, but our schedule that we put out, like that they published, says 9. I'm like, you need to get here. He's like, holy shit. So he bangs on, I guess, Max and Sam's door, wakes them up. So Simone gets there in like short notice. Max and Sam. Did Sam roll in a damn bathrobe? I don't know what the hell she rolled in. But you could tell she was in rough shape. And it all worked out. We started a bit after 10, but it all worked out.
Gianne pulled me out of there. I want to say like maybe 1, and she was like, "This is a big like," because I was like, "No, it's fine. Like, let's hang out." And even like the BC people have been like, "Come to our Air B&B. Like we'll hang out there." And I was like, "Let's go there." And she's like 6 a.m. 6 a.m. you have to be up to be at this thing.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, "Who? Like it doesn't matter. It's already too late." And she's like, "It's not too late. You have it. This is it will be too late soon.
Yeah.
But you have your chance right now to make it not too late." And then luckily we did go home, and I think I got 4 hours of sleep that night, and I was thankful for it when I woke up.
Yeah.
But I'll put Dan on blast a little bit here too, because he never drinks, never, like, not even like a drink.
Yeah.
But he got drunk that night, and he slept in my spare bedroom, and I woke up and went to the bathroom, and I looked. I'm like, oh, Dan passed out with the light on. You can see the light at the bottom of the thing. And I was like, so Dan had some drinks that night. So we had fun though. We celebrated his pro status. We celebrated everybody having a great show, and it was very very fun night at Bar Italia. We really had a great time there.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And then Sunday was record breakers.
Yeah.
Which was like always the more chill day of the 3. Like I described to you earlier, it's like if you go to like Country Fest or Folk Fest or whatever, where it ends on Monday, but everyone kind of leaves on Sunday. But the the real people, like the heavy hitters, aka the people who are fucking putting it on, are there till Sunday. So, but it was a nice day. It was smooth. Everyone was like, we were pretty fried, to be honest with you. Like Devin and Danielle and me and Gianne and everybody. We're just like, let's just get through this.
I didn't even take my contacts out from Friday till Sunday. They were dried in my at that point already.
And I think that they said they're going to kind of rethink how the record breakers works, because it's not fair to the athletes who want to do record breakers that we've been put through those first 2 days to give them the record breakers.
I think the record breakers should be we're doing Wonder at Max in certain events.
Well, I think they're going to change it so that it's on a different weekend. Because I think that makes sense, because it's too. It's not, like I said, it's not fair to the athletes who deserve people at their 100%, because they're there for 100% effort.
Yes.
And then when we're kind of like just barely making it there, you know what I mean? Like it's that being said, it was a great event and everyone did a really great job. So I'm not worried about that. But I just think that for the future, it might be worth considering.
Yeah.
But it was actually really, really great, because while we were doing that, so I was out with some guys doing the deadlift. We had to do the deadlift outside. We all remember talking about that. While we were doing that, Devin had his half of the people inside, just like cleaning, mopping, putting stuff away, so that by the time the deadlift was done, we were pretty much
all the mats were cleaned up, floors were mopped, plates were gone.
We had a couple more hours left of stuff, and then that was pretty much it.
We were over there by 2:30.
Yeah, we got there.
I think the event ended by 1, and we were out by 2:30.
Good stuff.
Just a short 6-hour day that day. That's all it was. Just a easy breezy 6 hours. But yeah, so now that that's done, that wraps our year. I mean, I have a competition in Cuba, but I'm not
terrible.
I'm looking forward to that.
I got
in a different way.
You ever been to an all-inclusive competition?
Yeah,
I know, right?
It's hard. I'd be very hard pressed to be like, oh, I'm really dreading this one.
I hate this prep. So what do you do for prep? Well, I deadlift and then I drink a shot. And then
exactly.
I deadlift and I take a shot.
Yeah. I think I said this before, but JS specifically said that like the events like shouldn't get too much in the way of people being able to drink and have fun and stuff. So
Good stuff.
So that's good to hear. But we the stressful stuff is done for the year. Deadlift for Dreams, all the strongman competitions, nationals. Nationals, we're never going to do that again. As far as 5 mile way,
that was a rough one.
Like I said, we'll see in a few years when we have a whole new
now
batch of volunteers that want to help us. But
now it's over, and I'm like, I could do that again.
I don't feel that way at all.
It's like a tattoo for me. I'm like, oh, that sucked.
But I
could do that again.
Always.
Actually, I have a sleeve booked for Thursday.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to being able to help other people run it.
Yes.
And I sincerely mean that. Like I'm looking forward to like next year it's in
Moncton.
So that's Sam and Max, so they know they're fine. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I think that I'd like to go there for that one.
Yep.
I've never been to the East Coast.
No, I've always wanted to.
Just using it as an opportunity. If any of my athletes want to compete there, I'll go with them. Yeah. And then I think after that it's Alberta somewhere, I think, right?
They have the list, yep.
Yeah. So when the Alberta people are doing it, if they can use us in any way, we had like Ryan Vance came down just to help.
Dude, he flew out and helped all weekend. That guy was a beauty.
That guy is, that's he came from Alberta and was like, "Can I help you guys at all?" And I was like, "Sure," thinking that he meant like if I can unload something or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was one of our volunteers that was there every day from beginning to end.
Yeah.
All
Good
3
man.
days. Yeah, amazing.
Laughing a couple of my jokes.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a Masters pro with Strongman Corp Canada. Yeah. So he's one of the vets who's been around and
he won Masters last year.
Yep. And I think that he would agree with me on this, that a fucking day like that is a taxing ass day for a guy who's been through the strongman, hoops that he's been through. So thank you very much to him for taking the time to do that.
Speaking of Masters pros, so we had Jocelyn and Gord. You know Gordon Jocelyn very well. They both won their categories.
Husband and wife. Both taking the top
Um,
spot. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was. I've been coaching them for a year and a half now, so it was beyond proud moment for me because I'm putting on the show and I'm trying to. I told all my athletes I had Mara and Strong Women Canada who placed 9th, and it's phenomenal for me because it was a great place. She was the top place in athlete in Manitoba for that. It was Kelsey's first year, but it just shows. Like Mara's been she was the only girl I think for years. To be honest with you,
it was her, and then it was her and Anna who were on opposite ends of like the weight class spectrum.
Yes,
so there's no crossover there. It's almost like two different.
They couldn't compete together.
Yeah.
So that was really good for me. We prepped a bunch for that, and it went great. So I was really really super proud of Mara. Then it goes to Saturday, and you're same with you. I'm trying to put on the show properly and still try to get to my athletes' events, which didn't happen for all of them. I missed a couple of Muriel's. I missed a couple of Joss and Gord, and I had so I ended up having 5 in there. My boy Pat, who
did well too, second place.
Yeah, Pat got second place. He missed his pro card by Pat.
Yeah.
He missed it. So in training, Pat is a guy that runs on so much adrenaline and explosiveness. It's unreal to watch. And at the gym, he always screwed up his sandbag runs because he gets so hyper. He just throws, and he's got so much power. He threw one over the bar that went 25 or 30 feet back and landed on my seat cans. We had to hit the ladders out to get it. It's ridiculous. And I said, Pat, so in training, I'm like, Pat, we need to get this adrenaline under control because you're going to screw up at nationals. And we worked on it. What happened? He literally screwed his bags up, grabbed it, threw it over, and that right there cost him first place.
Yeah,
that was the difference in podium.
He grabbed it and threw it over.
Missed it because he just
instead of
taking the time.
Yeah.
And that bag missed. If he would have got it, he would have been ahead by a couple seconds, and he would have had the podium. He would have had first.
And that
comes experience.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that I'm happy that Pat didn't get first, but I do kind of like that as a means of being like, it's a sport.
Yeah.
You can be really, really, really strong.
Yeah.
And you can be even really, really good, but like this, you still have to perform the day of, and there's still technical factors to it and stuff. Like, could Pat throw that sandbag probably further than anybody else that day? Yes. Could he probably throw it higher than anybody else that day? Yeah. Yes, but he couldn't put it over the bar in time
at the exact time he needed it.
Right. And so
deadlift rep, same thing. He always goes, boom, he just bangs him out and doesn't wait. Colton took away a rep. Colton gave him 2 that he shouldn't have. Like, Colton was very generous, and his last rep he didn't give him. Colton looked at me because he knows I'm his coach. So I'm like, nope. I take his reps away at my comps for not listening. And that one again cost some points. So there's a couple of things that he could have had. And congrats to the U105 guy won because that guy was an absolute animal.
Right.
I had Pat play second. Jocelyn won the Masters dominated the Masters. If you look at the points, she really did. I was hoping podium. We were hoping podium, but I was not expecting first place.
Yeah.
So that was a super proud moment. Gord winning the Masters, we came down to the last event. He needed the 5 reps in the keg to win. And we just, our whole training grounds group was just around him at the keg. Probably not allowed. We're just screaming at him. Nailed that. I don't know why but I kissed him at the podium. I'm gonna chalk that up to 15 hours of no food.
Yeah, you're tired.
It's on video. I don't
Dude,
know what the fuck I was doing. I literally kissed the guy.
I was driving around and like I had like the 90s country playlist playing on my thing, and like George Strait, like I'm Not a Cowboy Anymore, was playing, and I was like,
were you almost crying?
Like I was getting, like, really, so I was just weak, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was just emotionally
I've
just drained, where I was just like, I had to change it. I was just like, God damn, I'm like getting like fucking choked up here.
I've been with Danielle 17 years. I think I've cried in front of her 2 or 3 times in my life, and one was over 2 desks that really got to me, like close people.
It sounded like desks.
I thought you said desks.
No, death. And I'm up there trying to, and I'm like, I'm holding tears back. My eyes are welling up. I'm trying not to cry. And I'm like, you're just exhausted, Devin. This isn't even the fact that you're emotional. You're just exhausted. I'm trying to tell myself, right? So Alexi came in, first ever show. We only prepped for 3 months in Strawman. Got awesome. 6th place. Looked like, you got to look at the video of her doing farmers. It looks like my eyes.
Yeah, she was just going sideways for a minute.
Sideways, and didn't drop. Stumbles back the other way, comes back the other way. Like, it looked, and then Muriel pulled out 10th place. From 10th place to 7th in the Masters Women was 1.5 points.
The Masters Women was like a really tight
category.
Like, it was like really fun to watch their stuff actually, and then I think that they're a category that, like, when you're talking about, you think obviously both the Opens divisions, you think the 105 and the 83 division and stuff, but the Women's Master and the Men's Master too. But the Women's Master was just like a fucking battle, and it was really fun to watch. So and our Masters division in Manitoba, our Women's Masters, is getting really, really good.
Because there was 0.6 of a second difference on the farmers is what changed 7th to 10th.
Yeah,
jeez.
Yeah. That's what would. So any one of those 3 or 4 competitors, a 0.6 of a second difference would have got them 7th place. Yeah, it was unreal. Crazy. So it was. All the Manitoba athletes did phenomenal. Those are the ones from my gym. I'm super proud of Gord first. And as a coach, they have the option of from Texas Simone, Jocelyn and Gord have the option of taking a pro status, but there's no Masters pro shows in Manitoba or in Canada. So there's no point. So
they would have to open. Yeah,
they would have to go in the open at their age and their size, and then you're against 300-some pound guys. It's just so they have the option, but I don't. That's their choice. But so I'm super proud. I got a 2nd. 2 first for me as a coach. That was phenomenal. Like that's a proud moment for me and my gym and my team. So it was. I was proud of my team because they were all at each other's events. If I didn't catch it, all my athletes were there cheering each other on every event, which is as a group for us is cool. Like that's what I strive for in coaching is a collective group of people. So
if you're not in the open division, it's not always in your best interest to accept that pro status because all that it really does right now. Is limit your shows that you can do. Yeah. Right. So if you're like the men's open or even the men's heavy masters, you can be like, well, I'll go do some of the circuit shows because I feel like I can hang with those. But if you're like the men's U80, like, okay, so you have the SCC pro status, and I believe, like I said, that means something if you go to the States and stuff. But in Canada, all that means is that you can't compete at U80 shows in Canada anymore. Yeah. Which honestly I think is kind of a good thing in some ways.
Because you can just go up one weight class.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like if you want to be a U80 competitor. You gotta. You're really, really limiting the shows that you.
The only advantage in the U105 is there is like the clash shows, the strongest man in Canada 105. So that category is good. So that would have been great for Pat because Pat did phenomenal all year. He was, in terms of amateurs in Manitoba, he was the top amateur at every show in Manitoba this year. He didn't lose one comp
except for Dan.
Well, he beat Dan at both shows this year.
What shows?
Morris and Magnus.
Oh, hey, take it back.
Pat beat him at both shows. So that just proves how competitive.
Yeah,
the 105 field was.
There was like 22 guys in it too.
It was, and 22 there.
Points were crazy, like.
Yeah, it was the podium. At one point, Pat I think was 8th place, and then it went to 3rd place. It was all over the place. Yeah. So it just showed the level of competitors we have. The 120 I didn't pay attention too much, but that's really my bad. But I didn't know who really did well in there. We had no one in Manitoba in the 120, did we? Jesse was 105 or was he 120?
He was 105. We had nobody in Manitoba in the 120.
No.
The 120 is a
because Jeremy Baker moved to open.
Right. It's a feeder division. You go there to get your feet wet with the idea of doing a national show or whatever. And then hopefully, the next year you do open. If you don't, whatever. But hopefully you do because I think that's really where people should be aiming to be. If you can do 120, I would recommend just doing open. It's same weights, whatever. But it's the 120 was I didn't have anybody in it, so I can't say I paid a ton of attention to it. But the open division was fucking crazy. Some of the guys in that division are just huge.
They're monsters, man.
I was feeling very small compared to the guy, like Nathan, the guy who won it, is gigantic.
McDowell looked at me. He's like, "You bring me as a ref now when I can't even defend myself against these guys and how big these guys are." He's like, "Devin, I need you to back up my calls."
Yeah.
That Mark guy from Quebec was just like he was just gigantic and like and that's why I like so much to see Dan on the podium, because he looks like more of a normal guy, and the way that I sort of described, he went from novice show to pro status in about 2 years. And for a lot of guys, let's say like for some people that you would see that'd be like, wow, he's a phenom, like he's just like built to do this, or he's a natural freak, and Dan's not. He's not the right height. He's trying to be in a heavy division when
he doesn't have long arms,
right? He would do just fine. Like if he wanted to cut down, he could do the 105s.
Yeah,
but he chooses to open instead. And the way that I sort of described what he did in the last 2 years was like an accelerated degree. You know what I mean? Like where he did a 4-year degree in 2 years.
Yeah,
because he did every bit of work that someone would do in 4 to 5 years to become a pro strongman in 2 years.
Yeah.
The mental toughness was obviously there. He did all the recovery stuff he had to do. He did all the diet stuff he had to do. He did all the training, and that's why he got his pro status. Not because he's like, oh, I'm 6'4" and 400 pounds.
Oh, he's a bull, man.
Yeah,
absolute bull.
I think it was.
Well, we argued here. He's 5'10".
Yes, yeah, he's I think he's 6 feet now that he has his pro status.
Oh,
but, like Max didn't know that he was right behind him, and he was like, he's like, who's that guy from your? Or he's like, that guy from your gym, Dan. He's a brick, and he's like, does this impression of him walking around. I was like, Max Boudreau is saying that you're big. You're fucking big.
Yeah.
So,
Well, he came up to me. He's like, I don't care about what I got. He says, but Max Boudreau said I was big.
Yeah. he
came up to me and told me
that Dan was sitting right behind him when he said that. Dan was like, whoa.
He came over to me. That was the only highlight of my weekend. He said something like that. He said, I just chuckled. I'm like, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, and I had both of the goalies competing. Both of them did awesome. I know that Ryan wasn't super happy with his placing, but like his first national show, he did it at a weight class that's brand new to him. He won the farmers event. Obviously, that's
of
his
course.
Jam.
Smashed it.
So he did a great job with that. Like to have an event win, I think is a big deal. You know what I mean? Like you were the best in the country. For my money, I think he's pretty close to best in the world at farmers at the U80 weight class. And he did a great job. And Anna, it was really unfortunate because her weight division is so small. There was only 3 women that were qualified, and 1 got injured and couldn't make it. So it kind of becomes the story of Anna's strongman career, which is there was one other woman there, but just not enough competitors. That's what it always is for her. But to her credit, she fucking crushed it. Her and the other girl were back and forth. She got second out of 2, which you might think like, oh, whatever. But she was trading event wins back and forth with this girl. It was really, really fun to watch.
And she missed it, but it was 1 rep on one event that. It sucked.
And Jeremy just came over to us recently from another gym, and so I just barely started coaching with him. He knew exactly what he was getting into going into this. He went from the 120 division to the open division because he just likes to eat, and that's fine. And he knew that it was going to be a pretty rough day for him. And he decided to opt out of the deadlift, but he said, but I did PR in the warm-ups. So I said, well, hey, let's take that as a victory then. He's
just getting up to it. That was a PR already.
Well, he hit a warm-up weight, and he said it was hard. He's like, that was a PR. He's like, I'm going to leave it at that. And I was like, hey, he's a really smart guy. I was like, if you think that's the best choice.
Comes to a comp, pulls a PR in training, walks away. Well worth the qualification. That's amazing.
Nate Paul, you know him.
Yeah.
He showed up and he had a really great day too. Like he's,
40-second deadlift rep.
Yeah, like it's easy to forget that was a PR for him
That's
too.
That's an understatement.
Yeah,
there's a video, you got to watch it.
He is a guy where it's easy to forget how short he's been doing this for, because he's a strong dude. He walked in as a strong guy. Now we just need to get him technical and
dialed in
better, and you know what I mean. And he's going to do that. And I really was happy with how he took, getting smashed at a show in stride.
Yeah.
Him and Jeremy both did. They both knew exactly what they were walking into. They knew what they wanted, and they did a great job with it. We already talked about Dan.
Yeah. Well, I was going to touch on, like you said, like Ryan got first place, and you were talking about consistency because Dan did consistent.
Yeah.
Like Gord won without 1 event win.
Right. That's
didn't win one.
He did a Dom style too.
Didn't win 1 event. But
so
still got
Deloli's
first place.
better than him.
Yep.
At Farmers,
Absolutely. Yeah. No one's better than.
That's big though.
I'm
huge.
I'm looking at my list here. So so then there's make sure I didn't forget anyone.
I wanted to make sure we didn't miss
just
any.
Anna. That was and I was going to talk about her.
Manitoba.
Anna, so Kelsey's not my athlete, but she's from my gym, and she did great at Swig too. And I know that she won't agree with that, but she did.
Who coaches Kelsey?
Michael Thrones.
Oh yes,
Michael
Sorry,
Thrones.
I know, yes.
And he's a tremendous coach who's taking clients mostly for powerlifting, but obviously he's very capable at strongman too.
Tremendous.
And
Donald
Anna,
Trump.
who is a 22, she is a bit more of like a phenom, where she's walking into this really, really good.
Give her another year.
Yeah, and she has so much more room to grow, and I hope that she sticks with us in strongman because I know that her thing is weightlifting, but I think that we can. Who's that?
Yeah, he called me, and I just I'll call you back. Fuck you.
She crushed the sand. Like she had a very tough division. Jocelyn O'Brien was the one who won that, and she's like a next level competitor. Anna won the sandbag. She fucking crushed the keg over bar. She did a really great job.
Her sandbag run was flawless, man.
And I will say shout out to Jack, Jim, and Brandon for giving her a place to train while she was doing schooling out there.
Yeah, that was nice.
Garrett and Alan were nice enough to let her. I think it's Garrett's place, but it's there or whatever. Garrett and them was nice enough to let Anna train with them for free while she's out there for school. So thank you to them. They made a huge difference in her training. And that was our people. That was our people from Manitoba. There was more there, but we'd be hard pressed to sit and talk about every single person at the competition. But we as your Manitoba reps for Strongman Corp Canada, and we as the Strong Manitoba guys are, I think I speak for Devin when I say that we're absolutely thrilled with everybody from Manitoba who competed.
Well, and Garrett probably would have turned pro if he didn't tear his bicep.
Yes, so he was very close.
He missed out in first place because he tore.
Yeah.
We're extremely proud of everybody. We're thrilled with everybody who helped us with the feed. We're thrilled, or with the feed, the show. We're thrilled with everybody who just went out of their comfort zone and did something. There was enough guys from, say, like Brickhouse or whoever, where this was like their first year competing, and they got to nationals and they fucking did it.
Brickhouse helped us with some equipment for the show.
Yeah, shout out to Brickhouse
all the
for
gyms
that.
came together.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it really meant a lot for us to have that kind of support from everybody and to see our own athletes just fucking giving it. So
last year we weren't that great at nationals, and we showed up this year.
Yes, the podium was very overrepresented by Manitoba. That's for sure.
And I think now that some of them have a taste of not only podium, but also just being there, and more people having a taste, another year of training and competing.
Right.
I think your guys' events will improve. I think the athletes will improve, and it's only moving up and forwards.
It's one of those shows that it's like if you haven't done one like it, it's like a qualifier or provincials or Manitoba Strongest Man or Woman is not the same as nationals. It's just not. Like it runs completely differently. It's a different speed. There's way more people. There's more pressure. There's more, and it's just once you've done it once, when you go back next year, you're like, okay, at least now I know what to expect, and it'll feel a little bit different. So I think we're pretty much ready to wrap on that.
I just want to say big shout out again. Thank you to our volunteers.
Thank you.
I had to touch that. It's unreal what they did.
It like I said, we keep using these like bombastic terms like unreal, unbelievable, insane, but it really it truly.
But when other
is.
provinces reach out and say, "I can't believe how flawless," and they're that friendly and helping, and like they were cheering on each competitor, they said, "We've never had that."
Yeah,
like your volunteers were second to none. And for the reps, it just our volunteers they're crazy. So thank you.
So much love to everybody, and we'll leave it at that for today. I
think it was mostly me and you talking. I apologize, but.
That was your guys' weekend.
Yeah,
I had mine.
We had a lot to unload after the weekend. We did mentally unpack after the weekend. So, for David Beakley, for Devin Penner, and myself, Tyler Sigurdsson, thank you very much for watching.